Here's our finished structure, all stripped. So this end was the end that we made sure that we rotted really well, and we wrapped on it with the mallet. But if you get in here close, you can still see there's some small pockets, nothing crazy. And in a situation like this, what would happen is as the formwork is stripped, you'd have a worker coming by with some parging or some like hydraulic cement, and they would be filling these little tiny pinholes. This is very common, if you guys can see all this. This little edge here is what you really want to watch out for. But it's nothing major on this side. Something like this would absolutely pass inspection. It's not that big of a deal. You can see down through our columns, we have some of those pinholes again, but that's very common. And same thing in our footings. You can kind of see the other footings through the structure here. Again, we talked about the finish on our top. We've got a one trowel finish on this end, broom finish on this end. The whole structure looks pretty good. Like I said, again, we've got some little pockets, but now this end is really where we get into the honeycomb. So you can see here all these much larger pockets. We didn't rod or wrap on this end with a mallet, so you end up with real bad honeycomb just like this. In a situation like this, it's absolutely up to the engineer whether they decide to repair it or actually tear it out, because what happens here is moisture gets in, and if these pockets are actually deep enough, it can go all the way back to the rebar. Once you have moisture hit that rebar, it's going to rust, and then your concrete's going to start spalling. So the rebar is going to rust, start to expand, it's going to start chipping out concrete, and then your whole structure will end up failing. So you've got to be very conscious to not have this happen. So we're going to go ahead and pull the last formwork off here too. We wanted you guys to see it. And you can see how bad honeycombing can be if you don't vibrate the concrete or consolidate it. Oh yeah. So in a situation like this, I could almost guarantee that an engineer would say it fails, take it out, because you're really compromising the structure of the column. These pockets go pretty deep, so you're going to end up getting a lot of moisture going back in there. And what can happen is, even if the pockets don't go all the way back to the level of the rebar, what's going to happen is you're going to get moisture in there, and if it's New England or any northern states, your freeze thaw, what's going to happen is moisture gets in there, it's going to freeze and expand, and it actually start chipping away the concrete. And then it'll slowly work its way back, so then that way it ends up exposing your rebar. And you can see this side is really bad as well. So this is what happens when you do not vibrate concrete compared to when you do. So that wraps up our final lab project. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the fall.